Good morning, students. So, students, in the previous session, we studied about the first domain of the earth, that was lithosphere. Today, we are going to begin with the second one, students, that is the domain of water or hydrosphere. So, students, you all are very well aware that earth is called a blue planet because more than 71% of the earth is covered with water. Now, hydrosphere consists of water in all its forms. It is not कि gaseous form is not the part of hydrosphere or solid form is not the part of hydrosphere. Water in any form comprises hydrosphere. Let it be the running water in oceans or rivers, ice in glaciers, underground water and water vapor in the atmosphere. All of it is the part of hydrosphere. The word hydrosphere, children, in this hydro is a Greek word which means water. Therefore, hydrosphere comprises the realm of water or the domain of water. Then, children, since we have more than half of the surface of the earth covered with water, still we people face scarcity of water in our lives. The reason for it is, children, that the 97% of the earth's water is found in oceans and it is too salty and unfit for human consumptions. We human beings, we cannot consume that water. So since having so much of water on the earth's surface, there is scarcity. And the remaining 3% water, जो remaining 3% है fresh water, that is also the major portion of that is also in the forms of ice glaciers and ice sheets, which is of no use for the human beings. So that means only a small portion, or you can say a very small portion of water is available for the consumption of human beings. Then, children, you all are very well aware and you all have studied about it in your previous classes that water, it keeps on changing its forms. It never remains in the same form throughout. It keeps on changing forms from one form to another in a cyclical manner within the domain of hydrosphere. And this endless series of changes that undergone by the water in the hydrosphere between sea, air and land is known as, can anybody of you tell me? Yes, it is known as your hydrological cycle or water cycle. Now all of you have heard this term many times. So now let's see what is water cycle. Let's just give it a quick recall. So students, the water that is present in oceans, seas and rivers, when it get heated by the sun's heat, it changes its form from liquid to gaseous and turns into water vapors. The water in the oceans, it changes into water vapors and go in the atmosphere, and this process is known as evaporation. You all are very well aware of evaporation. Then children, this water vapor, when they go into the air, they change its forms again to the water. They again cool down and become water droplets, and this transformation is known as condensation. After this, children, these tiny droplets of water, they all join together and to form clouds. On cooling, these tiny droplets form big, larger clouds. Now, let me give you an example. You all would be having a piggy bank at your homes, and every day you keep on putting coins in it. So ultimately, children, a day would come जब वो piggy bank fill हो जाएगा, there will be no space in that piggy bank, and one day all the coins will start falling out. Yes or no? So in the same manner, clouds के अंदर भी these tiny droplets keep on depositing and depositing. Ultimately, a day come जब clouds जो हैं वो इतने overfill हो जाते हैं that these tiny droplets start falling out from the clouds in the form of rainfall. And this process of rainfall is known as precipitation. Precipitation now can be in any form. It can be rainfall, it can be snowfall, it can be hailstorm, it can be in the any form. And One more thing, precipitation helps to maintain the supply of fresh water on the earth because rainwater is the purest form of water. Then children, this rainfall or snowfall, it feeds glaciers, rivers, lakes and underground water sources, and again this cycle keeps on going, again evaporation, condensation and precipitation. So this cycle of change of water, it keeps on going all over again. Okay. Now, as I told you that hydrosphere ka major portion is in the form of oceans. So next, now we are going to discuss about oceans. So now students, the oceans form the major part of the hydrosphere, and on the earth we have 5 major oceans. All of you can see here on the screens. What are they? They are the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Arctic Ocean and the Southern Oceans. These 5 oceans are connected with each other and maintain the level of the sea. Let's discuss about all 5 one by one. Let's see what are the different features of these 5 oceans. Very firstly, we are going to start with the Pacific Ocean. Now, any guesses why am I starting with the Pacific Ocean first? Yes, I am starting with the Pacific Ocean first because it is the largest ocean of the world and it covers more than 30% of the Earth's surface. Then children, the Earth's deepest point, the Mariana Trench, which is 10,994 meters deep below sea level, is the part of Pacific Ocean. Moreover, most of the islands of the world, that is 25,000 islands, are present in the Pacific Ocean, and it also contains world's most of the active and dormant volcanoes. Then, talking about the next ocean, children, that is the Atlantic Ocean. It is the second largest ocean and it is in the shape of S. It is a S-shaped ocean. And one most important thing about Atlantic Ocean is that it is the saltiest oceans of the all. Amongst all the 5 oceans, it is the saltiest ocean. Then children, if we talk about from the business point of view, this Atlantic Ocean is the busiest ocean in the world. Next comes the third ocean, that is the Indian Ocean. Can anybody guess which is the most important or we can say a speciality for this ocean? जो सिर्फ इसी ocean के पास है, the unique feature. So the unique feature of Indian Ocean is that children, it is the only ocean which is named after a country, that is India. The shape of this ocean is almost triangular. And this ocean lies, the country India lies at its head and it is important for travel and trade between Europe and Asia. Next comes the Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean encircles the continent of Antarctica. It is located around the South Pole across the Antarctic Circle in the Southern Hemisphere. Talking about the last ocean, which is the smallest of all the 5 oceans, is the Arctic Ocean. It is located within the Arctic Circle and the North Pole. And since it is at the North Pole, it is frozen throughout the winters. However, during summers, the ice melts. Then children, there is a narrow stretch of water that is known as Bering Strait, which connects Arctic Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. So students, this was about the hydrosphere, the realm of water, the domain of water and the various oceans that are present on the surface of the earth. Now, I have a question for all of you. Now, you tell me, can you imagine your life without breathing? If I tell you that there is a task you all have to spend a day without breathing, is it possible? Definitely no. It is impossible to spend a day without breathing. And for breathing, We require air. So next domain that turns out is the realm of air, that is known as atmosphere. This thin blanket of air is an integral part of our planet. It provides us with the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effects of the sun. It is the most important domain. It is the one which is present all around the earth, atmosphere. And children, this realm, the air we breathe, is a mixture of so many gases. It consists of various gases. Let's see what are the constituents. So the large portion of our atmosphere is covered with the gas nitrogen, that is 78%. It is found in the larger proportion. Then comes our life-giving gas, that is oxygen. It is present in the proportion of 21%. And the remaining 1%, students, it comprises the other gases like carbon dioxide, argon, neon, helium, hydrogen, etc. Now, oxygen is the breath of life, while not nitrogen helps in growth for living organisms. Carbon dioxide, though is present in minute amount, still it is important as it absorbs the heat that is radiated by the earth. In the previous chapter, you all have read about the greenhouse effect. Ki carbon dioxide, it traps the heat of the sun and radiate it later during the night, which makes Earth's atmosphere livable for us, which keeps the Earth's atmosphere warm, which is essential for the growth of plants as well as for human living. So children, this was a small introduction about the third realm, atmosphere. We'll be continuing with this realm in our next session.